Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Joe Truemark and I am the Halo Enthusiast. If you have only just joined me, I recommend going back to the welcome video and watching that, as it will give you a breakdown of what I will be covering and where you are in my schedule. But if not, let's press on to the good stuff. Okay, so now we're going to be moving on to something more exciting. We will work on our aiming. But before we do, I want to talk about sensitivity. Now, most people generally agree that these settings are for the more advanced players and that if you are new to the game, to leave them alone. I respectfully disagree. That's fine if you are happy with slow progress, but let me get you to wrap your head around a few concepts in terms of sensitivity, and I assure you that you will want to change them. Okay, so the higher the sensitivity, the faster your look speed will be. This is obvious, but now to complicate matters, the developers have added custom horizontal and vertical look speeds. As a standard setting, the vertical look seems to be at least double the horizontal look speed. Now, you can stay with the defaults, but I prefer to tinker. 343 said in a post that if the horizontal look equals the vertical look, then it will be more akin to previous Halo games. I am open to experimentation, but after a whole lot of playing, I have finally settled on horizontal equals vertical is the best practice. This is probably because I am a long-time Halo player. It may not be the same for you. Although I think playing on a high sensitivity is theoretically better, I have noticed that it takes a lot of playtime to achieve consistent results. Recently I have been busy with life stuff and I have lowered my sensitivity right down, as personally I don't always have a lot of time to practice. Also, I think that the recent heavy aim patch has had some effect on me. Now, I'm not a person who thinks that one size fits all, and my advice here is that you need to find a sensitivity and a playstyle that works for you. If a lower sensitivity gets you more stable shots, then there is no problem in choosing that. The point here is to try out different sensitivities and to find out what works for you. There may be a great setting that you haven't tried yet that would really improve your game, but if you never mess with these settings as other experts tell you, then you will never get a chance to see if one setting suits you better than the default, and you may never get to find this out if you were told to leave those settings alone. So where do we start with this? Well, let's start with some generalizations. A high look sensitivity will mess with your ranged attacks, BRs, pistols, DMRs. If you do not work your aim up properly, you will have trouble hitting the side of a barn door. Any gun that requires careful precision will suffer. In contrast, your close quarters play should be improved, as you can swing around at blistering speed and you can make short work of enemies and can outstrafe foes on a lesser sensitivity. High sensitivity seems to be best on SWAT and breakout game types, as you can pull off the initial headshots faster, but tracking them afterwards can be difficult after the first shot. In direct contrast, a low sensitivity means that close range will suffer, but you should have more stable aim with long range weapons. A lower aim is generally better for Slayer based game types, as it is easier to track enemies at medium to long ranges. You will not necessarily hit the target before they hit you, but it will be easier to keep on target. So you may think, what is the solution to this problem? Stick it on 5 sensitivity, smack bang in the middle, and have the best of both worlds. Good theory, but in reality I don't think it really works like this. I would say that it is probably a good solid choice, but you may find yourself in a situation being outclassed by people with low sensitivity long range and pummeled by people with high sensitivity close range, good enough to get shots in but not enough to make solid kills. This is probably why some people only stick with certain game types. Some people only like Slayer while others love SWAT and Breakout. They most likely have become accustomed to a sensitivity that lends itself to a game type and refuse to change as they perform poorly on others. You don't want to get yourself in a position where you can only play a certain way. You want to get yourself in a place where you have more options available to you and a clear advantage against your opponents. Sometimes this means choosing the crazy option and then practicing it. There are people out there that are very proficient at all ranges, and because of this they have a high kill-death averages. You will need to empower yourself to deal with these challenging players so that you know that you gave it your all with the options you chose. It gives you a yardstick to help measure your successes and failures, and it can give you the options to improve yourself if you need to, or confirm that you are exactly where you want to be. So to begin with, I would suggest that you take what you normally play on and jump straight into big team battles. The reason for this is fighting with a BR and assault rifle as standard are good weapons to get a feel for what might work for you, and in big team battle there is more people to shoot. The object of the next few games is not to win the match, but just to get an idea of how you are performing with the sensitivity you are using, then decide if you need to come up or come down. You can also just play the campaign, but without the use of the BR as a constant denominator it may be difficult to judge. You may be missing shots because the cursor is not moving fast enough, or it may be whizzing around too fast for you to handle. Decide which is which and settle on a sensitivity. When you make a sensitivity change, most likely it will be a trade-off. You will start hitting shots that you originally had a problem with, but then start missing shots that you had nailed down before. Just keep going until you hit your sweet spot. It can take a while for you to settle, so be prepared to play quite a few games. Personally, I took a day out to settle on a sensitivity I was happy with, and even when I narrowed it down, I still tinkered a little bit, so just be patient with it. Then once settled, enjoy it, and then we can move on to the daily practice sessions. Okay, so next up, the daily practice sessions. But if that's enough for you now, just remember, take it easy, be good to each other, and play Halo. This is the Halo Enthusiast signing off and wishing you well in all things Halo.